So I actively have to calm myself down and say, okay, eat slowly.
I mean, he can't control himself around his food. This is kind of disturbing, right? And, you know, dietitian Abbey Not So Sharp, she did the same as well. And saying, hey, this is great, this class 1 carcinogen. It's like, these people are meant to be health professionals. Just stop trying to justify your low standards, please. Protein. Don't worry about protein.
The only way to be sure that you are getting enough protein is to completely avoid low-protein foods like fruit and rice.
Hey free woman, I'm Freelee. Welcome back to the Freelee channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that now. Click the bell icon if you want to get these videos sent to your inbox. Okay, today's video is a reaction to everything Dr. Mike eats in a day, food diaries by size Harper's BAZAAR. Okay, quite a few of you wanted this video because Dr. Mike is talked about a lot. He is quite popular. He's even voted the sexiest doctor alive, I believe. He's not exactly my cup of tea. I'm more of a Thor. I'm actually living with Thor, if you didn't know that already. But honestly, I'm not really into the indoctrinated mainstream doctor type. But anyway, that is just my personal preference. I want to know what he is eating, and a lot of you do too, and you want to know my opinion, and I'm going to give that today. If you want to see more of these videos, definitely give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You just vote how you want to do. Just vote in some way if you want to see more of these videos. All right, let's get into it.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mikhail Varshavski, but most know me better as Dr. Mike. Here's everything I eat in a day.
All right, Dr. Mike, let's do it. We know you.
The first thing I do when I wake up is I grab a warm glass of water. Now, it doesn't have to be warm. It ideally has to be room temperature.
Okay, so water is great first up, but something I want to say before we really get into this is he is an osteopath, okay? So he's an osteopath, and osteopaths get about 17 hours worth of nutrition education in their 4-year degree. So just think about that. 17 hours. I basically studied nutrition 17 hours last month. So he doesn't know a lot about nutrition. That's what it tells us. He does know a lot about prescribing drugs. That's what essentially doctors are trained to do. So just keep that in mind. I mean, like, even if they do get a lot of training these days, like Abbey Sharp, Abbey Not So Sharp, you know, she did her dietitian training in nutrition, but she still is clueless.
So today I've partnered with Maple Lodge Farms, who sponsored this video, to bring you 3 easy, low-carb, high-protein, keto-friendly snacks.
And the reason is because these courses are so industry funded. They're so heavily industry funded that the money is just coming in from the dairy industry, from the meat industry, and it's influencing, you know, their education and then their subsequent recommendations. So just keep that in mind. That's very important. So he is not educated in nutrition. So we should not look to him as some sort of expert in nutrition.
It ideally has to be room temperature. If something is too cold, I feel like it aggravates my throat somewhat, decreases the circulation.
Okay, I agree. I have room temperature beverages as well, because if it's too cold, your body just has to bring it to room temperature as well. You know, if it's too cold or too hot, your body has to work harder to regulate that temperature. So it makes sense. Okay.
You want to have all your blood flow in your throat to protect you. I don't always eat first thing in the morning. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I like doing the 6.
I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. Dr. Mike, what are you doing? Like, seriously, let's just call it what it is. He's a big fan of starvation. That's what it is, okay? It's just like calorie restriction. Calorie restriction, trying to get lean, stay lean. It's not a sustainable option, okay? You know, making yourself only eat between like a certain window, during a certain window, that's not healthy, and that's not cultivating like a healthy relationship with your food. Fully raw Christina, fully wrong Christina, she does that as well. And a lot of people do it. It's so trendy at the moment. It's just trendy starvation. Don't do it, okay? You're not going to get lean from it and stay lean from it long term. It's just going to lead to big ass binges.
So you're only eating throughout 8 hours of the day?
Dr. Mike, don't you know the first thing about nutrition? This is not something that you should ever do, restricting your calories, restricting your carbohydrates. So first up, this is not a good sign.
And lately I've fallen in love with my Vitamix blender, and I've been putting all sorts of fruits and vegetables in it to make a morning smoothie. And I feel like that gives me the vitamin mineral boost that I need to get throughout the day. You know,
that is really good that he is starting his day with a smoothie. We didn't see the smoothie. We got no details about the smoothie. So we don't actually know what's going into it. He did say, hey, there's fruits and vegetables, but it's like, well, what is that? Tell us, you know, that's what the whole video is about. Tell us everything Dr. Mike eats in a day. And he said that it's going to sustain him for basically the whole day for the vitamins and minerals. And that's not true. That's just for the morning. You need more, obviously, throughout the day to keep you satisfied and nourished. So I don't know what he was having in that smoothie.
I've never been one who needed or enjoyed caffeine beverages. I went through all of medical school without needing coffee, which is crazy because I've pulled all-nighters. There was 24-hour clinical shifts that I need to be up for, and I was fine. But now with all these demands being placed on my time,
Hang on. So he just said that he would pull 24-hour shifts. That's demanding, okay? And he was so busy in medical school, and you know his lifestyle was very demanding. But now he's saying his new lifestyle is very demanding. Let's just listen to that again.
Now with all these demands being placed on my time.
Now with all these demands being placed on my time, but you just said medical school was placing a lot of demands on your time. So justifying having coffee, because we know that's coming because they just show the coffee. He's trying to justify it, you know, due to him being busier, but he was busy before. So that doesn't make sense.
Hospital work, YouTube, TV, research that I need to be doing. I start my day with an espresso. I throw the pot in.
Of course you do.
I get my espresso in a little copper espresso, little mini mug.
I mean, like, this really feels like drugs now. It really feels like drugs, doesn't it? Think about it. He has this little, like, kind of like a shot kind of thing, you know, to get going in the morning. He needs that because he's doing this intermittent fasting, and he's probably, I mean, he's obviously under-eating because he's only got this window that he can eat throughout. So this feels like a drugs fully, and it is, because we know caffeine is drugs. It is the most widely used drug in the world.
Mug, I love it because it's thermally layered. And it doesn't allow me to burn myself.
He loves it because he has this connection. He has this like addiction. Okay, you need to understand that. I know there's a lot of you in the comments sometimes that are like, oh, I just like the taste of coffee. But did you like the taste of coffee when you first had it? Be honest with yourself. A lot of you are going to say no. It just tasted bitter. It was not good. Even if you did like it, you have to understand that this is a strong addiction, okay? This is what is drawing you to the coffee and the smell and everything. I like the smell because I used to be a coffee addict. I used to drink it, so I understand that, okay? So you got to really make that connection.
Normally my lunch is around 1 p.m. That's when I get a break during my hospital time. I like to run out.
Okay, so he's had a smoothie, but we don't know how many calories in the smoothie. We don't even know what was really in the smoothie. And now it's 1 p.m. and he's having this.
Get myself some Chipotle. I think I can really control what goes into my portions.
Okay, so as soon as someone starts talking about portions, you know, portion sizes, you know that they're all about calorie restriction. Okay, I've been at this for 13 years, longer, because I was a personal trainer before that. I had my own personal training business. I can just spot this a mile away. The languaging, you know, intermittent fasting, he's doing the portion, talking about portion. He's having caffeine, coffee in the morning instead of proper nutrition. All the warning signs.
Loved ingredients that they use. I'll tell you what my go-to meal there is. It's a salad bowl because there's a little bit less calories and carbs in that. I get brown.
All right, so you just heard what he said. There's a little less carbs and calories in that. So this is when you know that he has no idea about human nutrition. He just doesn't know, okay? Because he's trying to restrict his carbohydrates. If anyone is trying to restrict their carbohydrates, they don't get it. They have not educated themselves on actual human nutrition, which is optimal for our human frugivore bodies. We're high carb creatures. You cannot avoid it. And if you try and avoid it, you're going to go to stimulants like caffeine, and you're going to go to other sources of sugar if you're not eating enough fruit. So straight up, he has no clue.
Rice, I think that's the healthier option of the two.
I mean, that's great. It's great that he's having brown rice. It's great that he's having
a lot of greens. I get usually double the meat. I usually get
what?
Chicken or steak or maybe a mix.
Oh no. I usually get double the meat. So he's getting double the amount of dead bird and dead bovine muscle tissue, because that's what it is. You're eating the muscle tissue of these dead animals. Doesn't sound so great, does it? you know, because it's not. And, you know, red meat especially is classified as a class 2 carcinogen. So he's eating that for lunch. Like, I don't understand how he hasn't educated himself. And Chipotle, you can get plenty of vegan options. Why would you bother putting that flesh in there?
Be a mix of two, but double the meat because I need that protein. I get
Oh no, double the meat because I need that protein. No, you don't need the protein from these animals, from their dead bodies. It's just, what are you doing? Something that Dr. Mike hasn't educated himself on is the fact that the protein in this flesh is going to be largely unusable because it is being denatured by the cooking process and because it's coming from animals, and we're not designed as frugivores to eat this muscle tissue. So, Dr. Mike, no, you don't need the protein. Look, for those of you at home, have you ever met anyone with a clinically diagnosed protein deficiency? Tell me in the comments down below, have you ever met anyone? Of course you haven't, because it's not a thing.
the mild salsa, a little sprinkling of cheese, and you know guac is extra, but it's well worth it. So I definitely get a lot of guac in there. And I try and chow it down slowly because I like it so much, I can finish a bowl in like 30 seconds and it's...
So see, he is hungry, okay? He tries to eat it slowly because he is really, really hungry because he's doing this intermittent fasting, he's doing the calorie restriction, intermittent starvation, I should call it.
Not good to eat that fast. So I actively have to calm myself down and say, okay, eat slowly.
I mean, he can't control himself around his food. This is kind of disturbing, right? He can't control himself. That's what he's saying. He's like, I'm just like, I have to actively stop myself. It's like, whoa.
Eat slowly. And the way that I sort of manage to do that is by having a water bottle with me, and I just sip on that water bottle in between my bites, therefore.
Okay, so you know why he does this, okay? Because he's trying to fill his stomach and feel more satiated. Because he's just not getting enough carbohydrates. Yes, he had some brown rice, but he needs more. He's doubling up on the muscle tissue, on the meat, when he should be doubling up on the rice portion, and he should be having fruit as well. You know, this is just a clear sign. He's trying to use water as a calorie substitute. Hopefully you can see that. He's trying to fill up on the water so he eats less.
Kind of calms me down. I actually take my eating during my travels very seriously. So when I go to a fast food restaurant, I still am able to figure out like a detective what can be healthy. So I look for things that have a lot of vegetables in them, green leafy vegetables, tomatoes. Then I get a protein source in there, whether that's chicken, beef, or even a vegan option. That's also great for me.
Yes. At least he said a vegan option, but I feel like he's just saying it to maybe be relatable to the audience or something. I don't know, but this protein, don't worry about protein. Why are people putting out to the world, even in the vegan community, that you need all this protein? It is just it's embarrassing that these people have not educated themselves sufficiently to realize that it's not a thing, and it's just this industry pushed propaganda from the meat industry. Please stop.
You will become protein deficient. It's very easy to fail to get enough protein. The only way to be sure that you are getting enough protein is to completely avoid low-protein foods like fruit and rice.
I am not a dietitian. Of course, I am not a dietitian. Of course, I
Protein powder, protein smoothie, protein powder, protein smoothie, protein.
And then, if I'm gonna have a carb, I make sure it's a complex carb. Brown rice, whole wheat bread, all those are better options because your body takes longer to digest them. Therefore, it actually burns some calories and doesn't absorb all those simple sugars as rapidly. So it doesn't spike your insulin. That's always better.
Okay, all right, that was like a long sentence. Okay, so he basically said he likes to have a complex carbs because it digests more slowly than the simple carbs. And okay, if you're talking about maybe white sugar in that respect, but if we're talking about fruit, which is full of simple sugars, monosaccharides, it's like it's not going to be absorbed quickly. So at this point, he could just have fruit. He could have the whole package. He's got the fiber in there, he's got the protein, he's got the fats, he's got the micronutrients, and it's going to absorb at a nice, steady rate because it's what we're meant to eat and it's our natural diet. So we are just nourished nice and steadily. But he is comparing it to, you know, just white sugar, okay, saying like complex carbs like brown rice and like the bread are better because it's not white sugar. But I mean, he should be having fruit instead of that meal, or at some point having some more fruit in there. And I don't like how he's kind of demonizing monosaccharides. It's like this fear of monosaccharides, of simple sugars, is so unfounded. We need to stop it. It's irrational. Okay, it's better if you have the white sugar. Yes, it's better if you have the white sugar than have an abundance of fat or protein, because your body still understands what to do with it and derives fuel from it to fuel your cells. So, okay.
Beneficial. There's a few snacks that I like to chew on throughout the day. First and foremost are nuts. Now,
okay, so nuts. And this is another, look, I'm for nuts and seeds. I eat them myself in moderation. But the fact that he's having nuts and seeds just makes me think, he's the protein and the fat. It's low in carbs, again, because he is a low carb follower. I can see that already.
I know a lot of people have specific favorites that they enjoy. For me, my go-to are almonds. If I don't have nuts available, I also can bring a perfect bar with me. I don't know if you've heard of these.
Okay, so what does it say there? The original refrigerated protein bar. So more protein. The guy is obsessed with protein. Honestly, stop. Dr. Mike, stop spreading this propaganda. People are so scared of a protein deficiency, something that doesn't even occur in developed countries. It's hilarious to me. Stop.
Basically a bar that is made only with superfoods. Some of them are even
Great. Only with superfoods. That's what we want, right?
peanut or almond based. Now you clearly know I'm nuts about nuts. And if you haven't seen my YouTube,
and he wants this dense calorie source. He wants this dense fat calorie source because he's not getting enough carbs.
YouTube video, because my storage space in my New York City apartment is so limited. Do you know where I store my nuts? In the dishwasher.
Okay, so you see here, he's nuts about nuts for sure because he's not getting enough carbs. Keto. He's into keto. He's into keto/paleo. It is very obvious. Calorie restriction, carb restriction, loading up on the fat and the protein, eating muscle tissue.
If I'm having a cheat meal lunch on the weekend, well, let's say my buddies, I like to get a food that is social. For example, pizza.
Food, any food is social. That's really strange. I like to get a food that's social. Okay.
Love pizza. Getting an extra large pie with extra cheese, pepperoni.
This guy is such a disappointment. I mean, I don't care if you only eat this once a week, okay? You should never put this in your body. Not only is it an animal, it was an animal that wanted to live, and you took that animal's life unnecessarily and cruelly. Not only that, but this is a class 1 carcinogen. And as a doctor, he should be more responsible. He shouldn't be putting this out to the public I eat this at all. And, dietitian Abbey Not So Sharp, she did the same as well. And saying, hey, this is great, this class 1 carcinogen. It's these people are meant to be health professionals.
Some veggies thrown in there. It's definitely not healthy, but that's why it's a cheat meal. And you need to have it.
You should not be cheating with animals' lives, okay? It's so unnecessary. It doesn't need to happen. Stop using animals' bodies to cheat on your diet.
Cheat meal. You need to reward yourself every now and then. If you're
No, buddy, it's not a reward. It's not a reward to your body. It's not a reward to your mind, not a reward to the animals. It's a cop-out. It's because you're under eating on carbohydrates and calories, and then you're just binging out. You're binging out. During the week, you're under eating so much, and then you need this big binge out. And then the animals have to pay, and your body has to pay. Just stop trying to justify your low standards, please.
You're constantly holding yourself to rigorous standards that aren't realistic, and you're never allowing yourself to have a slice of pizza. What kind of life are you living?
I mean, look, he lives in New York City. There's literally so much pizza. It is like the, vegan pizza capital. So much. There is never any excuse to eat animal-topped pizzas. Honestly, there's so much. Look at all this. So much vegan pizza. Look, I went to New York. I went to New York City. I've been there a couple of times, okay, and stayed in New York City. And it is amazing for vegan restaurants. There's something like over 80 vegan restaurants in New York City and a bunch of pizza bars that serve, a vegan pizza. So what is your excuse? You have no excuse to then hurt animals, hurt your health, and be a terrible role model for your audience, for young people who are, mainly watching him. Look, you don't have to calorie restrict, you don't have to carb restrict, you don't have to restrict your monosaccharides as well, okay, your simple sugars. And I show you how in both of my books. My Naked Lunchbox, actually, Dr. Mike, you would do good with this. He's quite manicured. You would do great with the My Naked Lunchbox. And so definitely check out my books. The link is in the description below. Lots of lunchbox recipes. This is a life-changing book with absolutely amazing reviews. And of course, the Raw Till 4 diet and Go Fruit Yourself. You can get a bundle, which is going to save you a bunch of money, and get all my books for the price of dinner and a movies, basically, to change your life forever. And I've lost over 40 pounds on this lifestyle. So, on a raw vegan and a Raw Till 4 lifestyle. So check it out. The link is in the description below.
When I do eat dinner, I generally don't cook it myself. When I do, though, I do a pretty bang-up job, not gonna lie. I'm a master grillsmith, so if I'm making...
Okay, so he cooks in the most carcinogenic way. Okay.
Making steak, I'm making pork, I'm making chicken. I do a pretty good job, but...
No, you don't, okay? Cooking in, grilling as well, and you can see how they were representing the grilling here, charring it. This is not healthy yet again, and he's eating this way quite often. Sure, he's young now, he's 29 or something like that, so he can get away with it to some degree, but he's likely experiencing health issues already, but he's not going to tell us, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
When I'm ordering out, I usually get sushi. There's something about raw fish that I love. It's weird. I don't even...
Yeah, that is weird. It is weird. Okay, and let's see what he is eating the raw fish with.
Even get fancy rolls. I just get the sushi, traditional, the little bed of rice. I usually get brown rice with the little fish on top.
Yeah, see, so he's addicted to he wants the sugar. He wants the sugar in the rice and he wants the rice. That's what he really wants, not the fish. So why doesn't he just go there and have a meal of raw fish? If he loves it so much. He's not going to do that because he wants the sugar. He wants the carbs because he's under eating. He's under carb, intermittent fasting, starving. So you can see the pattern here.
With the little fish on top, maybe a tiny bit of soy sauce because I don't want to consume too much sodium.
But he said, I don't want to consume too much sodium. But that Chipotle meal that he had before is over 2,000 milligrams of sodium. So he's already having over the recommended amount. The recommended maximum for the day. So he's already having too much sodium, and he's I'm watching my sodium. Dr. Mike, Chipotle, full of salt. You might want to stop that.
And my go-to salmon, tuna. I love a medium toro, which is a medium.
See, these are all the big fish which are packed full of heavy metal and also PCBs. I talked about it last video. All these environmental pollutants which concentrate something like 9 million times in the flesh of the fish. It comes from industry runoff, from the livestock industry, from pharmaceutical industry, concentrates in the flesh of the fish, these PCBs and plastics and everything, and then we heat it up and we eat it, or not even heat it up, we eat it raw. This is not healthy, it is not clean food.
Fatty tuna, yellowtail is great,
and
mackerel, and then
cool.
sometimes baby shrimp. It's just absolutely delicious.
Okay, he likes to eat babies. That should just tell you everything you need to know right there. The guy thinks babies are absolutely delicious. Dr. Mike, you got a problem. These are baby shrimp. These are babies. So this doctor thinks babies are delicious.
As far as wasabi goes, I don't like to put too much of it on, but the places that I order, they put just a little bit of the wasabi on the sushi that gives it the perfect amount of kick. My beverage of choice at dinner is a sparkling water that has no calories or sugar in it. For some reason...
Okay, here we go again. More evidence that he is carb restricting and he's also calorie restricting. He just said it himself. It has no carbs, it has no calories. Seriously, this is not working. This is not going to work. he's just going to gain weight. He's just going to gain like health issues because he is restricting the carbs and the sugar, and he's just going for the fat and the protein and for the muscle tissue and cheese and all these cruel options that are also cruel to your body as well. So, this is disappointing.
New York City is the best food city. You have,
It is really amazing. I mean, I'm talking about vegan, obviously. I don't eat the flesh of animals. That's not what I do, but I'm talking about vegan. It is absolutely amazing.
Obviously, I'm from here, so I'm biased. You have every type of ethnicity, every type of cooking. You have amazing seafood, the best sushi from Japan. There's nothing your heart can desire, or maybe in this case, your stomach can desire, that you cannot get here in New York City.
Exactly. So thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, that you have so many options other than eating the flesh of animals, eating this muscle tissue, and this solidified bovine secretion, cheese. So you have so many options, but you still choose to eat them. Like I said, over 80 vegan restaurants in New York City. And I went to Caravan of Dreams, I went to Beyond Sushi, I went to Candle Cafe, I went to Pure Food and Wine. Amazing. The food is amazing. So he doesn't have any excuse why he's continuing to eat in this barbaric way. It is. It's not 2020 eating. It's like Dr. Mike, it's 2020. Why are you not vegan? How are you still eating like a barbarian? It might be like fancy kind of barbarian food. It's been all like arranged in a certain way, but it's still just barbaric, unhealthy, carcinogenic, cruel food. And it should not go in your body, and it should not come from someone else's body and go into yours.
So you're talking about halal food, sushi, bodega chips, like just
Go to Beyond Sushi and get some vegan sushi. It's like one of the most popular sushi places in New York City.
everything. Like you can run the gamut in New York City. I love the food here. Like I love the people and I love the food.
Okay, so I'm going to end it there. You can see what's happening here, right? He is under eating. He is carbohydrate restricting. He's not having enough fruit during the day. And then he's going to this muscle tissue and this solidified bovine secretion from cows. He's going to foods that aren't actually foods for frugivores, okay? And it's going to lead to disease in his body and premature death. And it's also obviously, taking the body of another animal unnecessarily. Okay, so you can see what he's doing. He is like keto/paleo style eating, carbohydrate restriction. He is into intermittent starvation. It's just calorie restriction, carb restriction. It's been done, I've been like at this for 13 years, just debunking people on this low carb rubbish. Check out a real doctor who actually knows what he's talking about, who is pro fruit, pro carbohydrates. He's also debunking this keto rubbish on Instagram. Dr. Andrew Little. He is a plant-based doctor and he is awesome. We are always chatting about debunking these people. It's so frustrating to both of us because we understand basic human physiology and we understand advanced human physiology and nutrition. We understand how the body is meant to be fueled, so it's frustrating when people who are putting themselves out there as health professionals like just giving so much misinformation and being really irresponsible because they're reaching so many people. Okay, so that is my video for today. If you want to see someone else, let me know in the comments below. I have a list. of people coming, so stay patient and I will see you soon. Don't forget to go fruit yourself.